pure consciousness is the ultimate subjective field of all knowingness. The door opened, and it cannot be closed. Yes, they two look totally different. One starts from the material point of view, the matter, and the other starts from the noetic, or from the mind. However, today we know that the quarks, the strings, superstrings, the Higgs boson, all these are, as John said, vibrations in an infinitely extended quantum field. Particles don't exist. What exists today are happenings, or haps, as some physicists call it. They are events. And therefore, as soon as you get away from the idea of a hard particle with a finite existence in space and time, then the noetic field opens up. Now, it may sound to a skeptic, and all scientists are skeptics to a certain extent. It may sound to a skeptic like we're pushing too much in one direction, but by pure reason, if you follow pure reason, ultimately, my belief is that you come up to the realization, the understanding that the entire universe must be conscious, because there's no other way around it.
Thank you, John. And John, would you agree with that generally?
That's very well put. I've got a secret about physicists. They don't tend to know anything about consciousness. Maybe a dozen or two, honestly.
Yeah.
But they've never studied. They've been schooled in a tradition where consciousness doesn't even exist. Typically speaking, they've never given it a second thought. You know, we were the people who wore the pocket protectors, looked at goggles. We were technically called nerds. And we were pushed into the world of physics and quantitative science because we had no people skills whatsoever. And so we took those courses, and we were schooled in this idea of how to, master the material world and engineering and computer science. And we just had never given consciousness a second thought. If it weren't for me, someday, I was 17 under the recommendation of a doctor, being in a body cast at the time, that I should try meditation because it may actually help me get over my nonstop fever and help me sleep. I started, and that slowly but surely opened up a whole new world, and I started to see the connection. I started to know something about consciousness. That's the thing. I knew something about consciousness from direct experience. So if a scientist comes up and says, well, I don't believe this or that about consciousness, your first response should be, well, who cares? You could ask a plumber or a dentist or whatever about consciousness, or a physicist, and you're going to get the same uninformed answer, typically. So they're just completely different worlds of study. And what's happening is that more and more people, I think, it's a sign of rising consciousness, who are